What's going on, world? I am James Betts, and I am the host of The Sipp Culture, where we highlight individuals, groups, organizations, or anybody for that matter. Today, with me, I have a very special guest, Larry Thompson. How's it going, man?
Man, it's going well, my brother. It's going well. You know,
Man.
can't complain.
So, how you feeling? You know, everything's good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know, we got the ball rolling right now. You know, and I'm just continuing to see if we can pick up speed, man.
Okay.
That's all it is, man.
Okay.
No days off.
And yeah, we're here at Free Cuts out here in Jasper County, man. Y'all come check them out, man. But without further ado, we get into the questions. For the people who don't know, who is Larry Thompson?
I would say myself, with a little summation, I would say someone who's an activist that's a forward mover for not only myself, but those who surround me. So I guess you could say an influential pillar that can move the progression meter for the people. And I'm also a sacrificial lamb, if you want to say that. And what I mean by that is because I put myself in a lot of first time positions that a lot of people wish to do, but don't know how to make the step to make it happen. So I always want to be the one who make the step to show the people that it's easier than what it seems.
Okay. With that analogy, I use the cowboys and the Indian analogy, where the cowboys, you got a group of cowboys, and there's Indians on the other side of the hill, and the cowboy, there's one brave cowboy that goes up on the hill, gets shot with a lot of arrows, comes down to the other cowboys.
The Indians are there.
There's a lot of them over there. You know, you wanna be careful, but the individual that was courageous enough to go up there and check out what's on the other side of that hill, I think what you just explained is that in a nutshell.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you know, that's a bold statement, sacrificial lamb, when you put that out there.
Yeah. And you know, I made sure I said that with a little precision behind it, the understanding that people want to wake up. You know, you got the spiritual people, and then you have those who are figurative speakers, you know.
Right.
And that's a big statement for the people.
Absolutely.
And I'm okay with it, though. You know, I'm okay with it. That's why I always focus on accountability. Hold me accountable to the things that I speak of.
Right, right. Accountability is one of the best things that you can have for yourself, because now you see, and what I was talking to my daughter about it this morning, is fault. Like, anything good that happens is your fault. Anything bad that happens, like anything what you engage in, is your fault. So if you want something to be your fault, you're going to be accountable for it, and then you can translate that into whatever's good, whatever's beneficial to you. So,
right, correct. Very correct, man.
But yeah, like, so that's Larry Thompson in a nutshell, like that brave leader. And speaking of that, what in your opinion is a leader? What is your definition of a leader?
A leader is someone who's willing to listen to someone. See, a lot of times people want to be a boss, and a lot of times we get that misconstrued with the ideal of what a leader is. You know, a boss is someone who creates someone. They put down pressure on people unnecessarily to meet a quota. Whereas a leader is someone who's trying to guide individuals on the right path.
Right.
And sitting in the driver's seat, you know, we're going in a direction that we all don't know. So we have to talk together as a conglomerate to get an understanding of where we're going. Right. So I have to be open to the people that are riding in the car with me. Right. You know, where we're going. You got the GPS. One person got the GPS. The other one has the snacks, and one may have a map. You know, we all be synchronized on this path, you know. So I'm open to hearing. And that's what a leader does. He listens with his ear and his heart. Right. And he steers it in the right path with his heart as well. Heart and mind, I would say. And
just getting in the trenches with the people that's in the car with them.
Yes, sir.
You know, they trust you with their life because you're behind the wheel.
Yes, sir.
At the same time, that person with the snacks is keeping you, with the
energized,
hydrated. The other person with the GPS is like, okay, they're holding it while you're driving, so it's like you're the best driver. You're the best person to lead them in that direction, and they're the ones who have the other components that kind of make this journey what it is.
Yes, sir. And then, don't leave out the one with the map. So we got to understand. And this analogy is also when we come to age, generational situations.
Right.
Some people use technology, the other people use maps.
Right.
And when sometimes that technology fails when there's no service. So now what you got to reside to? You got to reside to that map, and we follow the map. So everybody have a role in it.
Right.
Everybody has a valuable role. Even if we never lose service, it's still a valuable asset to have that with you at all times. Just to double check your GPS.
Right. That's that apparatus you have when you just have those people, those different components that bring value
Yes,
to
sir.
the one who's leading the
cause. Yes,
leading
sir.
everybody to where they got to go. So, what things were you doing prior to this journey?
Well, man, I was doing music, and I was also doing things as working with nonprofits. I was big in the nonprofit range, or more specifically programming. Work with some programming nonprofits, more specific. NSBE, which is National Society of Black Engineers.
Okay.
And I work with those, and also music, as I was saying beforehand. So that's why I'm able to take in opinions of people, because you got to put yourself out there as a market.
Absolutely.
And embrace the opinions. And people are not going to buy that product if it's not a good product. So I learned how to mold myself into the product that's necessary to be distributed to the people.
Right.
In a way in which they can ingest it. Because it's also valuable to understand that as well.
Absolutely.
Because some people can take medicine, liquid medicine. Some people take pills.
Right.
Some have to take the IV style. So it's all about understanding who I was at that moment, what my product I am, and what product I'm presenting to the people to ingest.
So you understand like how to, shape and mold what the people, like what their interests are.
Yes.
And the things and that's another component of a leader. They listen, and then they kind of make it around what the people say.
Yes, sir.
Or what they demand or what they want, opposed to saying, well, this is how I'm going to do it. I don't care what you guys say. I'm going to go and do it this way. And if it works,
right.
You're going to die on that hill, opposed to being open to the people that, that are supporting you in that sense.
And that's how a lot of I guess politicians get left on the island a lot.
Yes.
Because a lot of them tend to go towards something that's more for their interest. So I'm gonna give you an example, the dollar. Now don't get me wrong, the dollar is a significant thing that moves us forward, but what about the vested of the people?
Right.
The most valuable resource of everything,
Absolutely.
of any dollar, or anything that has value to it. So I always tend to go back to the resources of the humanity side of things more so than the materialistic side of things.
Right. The humanity thing is really important. It's really significant because people, they're not looked at as a number. They're looked at as like somebody with value, or someone who their voice it's heard by the people who are in a position of leadership.
Yes, sir.
And not just like, hey man, we won't change, and then you got some of the politicians that like, oh yeah, we're gonna work on that, and then continue to be in their bubble, opposed to being like, that person, their voice, I hear the pain in it. I hear the things like they really won't change, and I'm gonna listen to that person.
Yes.
So they feel as if they're being heard by having that component out there. So
yes, sir, and that's a way of being a representation of the body. It's one big body. That's all it is, man. You got some people who work as your hands. You have some work as your feet. Some work as the brain. Some work as your heart.
Right.
But we should never be intoxicated by any type of emotional disturbance unless it's something that's going to propel us forward.
Right.
Because you could be intoxicated by so many different things outside of drugs and alcohol. Our emotions is the same thing. Anger, sadness, depression. All these things are benefactors when it comes to the human body.
Right.
And you can feel the human body as a people, but we always got to work as one body and without the emotional, disturbance, as we'll call it.
Absolutely. And I'm big on like the psychology of it, like where if the mind is engaging in some toxic behavior or whatever, then the body will follow that exact thought if it's a negative thought. And to use that analogy with the body, the people, if there's one toxic side and this side is doing good, there's no balance. So having everybody on one accord and being in sync with the mission or whatever the purpose is, everybody's moving in harmony. So
Yes, sir.
Who or what is the primary source of your motivation?
It's a couple of things. The first I want to hit on is my family. I have to acknowledge the fact that I want my family to do better. I want my family to feel as if I'm someone who can move them forward.
Right.
Because if I say I can move a people forward without being able to move my family forward, they just don't coincide. That's just I guess you could say unbalanced equilibrium in a situation.
Right.
But also I am here to be an embodiment of the representation of the county, because you can just go around and hear the pains of the people. What do they want? They want someone to listen. It don't have to be something mega. Right. You know, it's just simple things. The simplicity, I guess, you know, simplicity has always been the key to move things forward. Yeah. You know, people always think it's complex situations, but no, it's simple. And the simple thing is people got a mind. People want to hear, a mouth. They want to speak. They want you to hear them. Mm-hmm. They want you to show them that you're trying to do something for them. Mm-hmm. And it's not their fault. You know, we've been in a situation where people will tell us one thing and then they end up being another. Right. And that contradiction have led to mistrust to career politicians, which birthed people like myself, right, who are first-time politicians, you know, and a lot of times I don't like to label myself as a politician, but at the end of the day, that's the field that I'm in, right, so we can redefine that field. It doesn't always necessarily have to be someone who's looking to take $1 and looking to change up somebody's atmosphere just over $1. Right. You know, and that's why I guess you could say the status quo fear it so much. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So and to go back on what you were saying earlier, you know, you can't decorate someone else's home when you're a hoarder at home. Mm-hmm. So you have to be able to lead your family, mm-hmm, lead you know, the people in your community before you just expand out. And mm-hmm, you know, so I see why that's a source of motivation for you with your family and leading them, and your children looking at you like, you know, that's my dad. I can follow him, and he's a prime example of what a man and a leader is. And then you go out and be an example of that, you know.
Yes, sir.
So, mm-hmm, but I believe in also, you know, having to change self. It's mm-hmm, everything begins with self.
Yes.
Because sometimes, you know, you want to see change, you have to become that. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, I see that you've evolved in who mm-hmm, you were, and to change into what you want to do and what you want to see. Mm-hmm. I believe that's incredible. That's mm-hmm, an incredible trait to have, is constant evolution.
Yes, sir. I'm glad you even spoke on that, man. You know, the evolution process, because once upon a time, you know, when I first said I want to do something great for myself, that's when we jumped in the music world, you know. Right. Working hard at the music, grinding, trying to create a landscape for everybody else, like a plate for somebody else to follow. Right. You know, and that evolved me to the position where I am at this particular moment, right? Mm-hmm. So I was like, man, I want to touch a lot of people. At that time, when I was young, it was trending to be in music, you know? So I was like, okay then, let me jump in these waters, create my own lane, create a bridge for everybody to come across. Right. So once we get there, then everybody else can come across, and at a continuous motion. And my mindset evolved when I started helping out so many different people with the nonprofits that I was working with. Like, it really, I guess it turned on the green light of mature form of guidance. Mm-hmm. More so, don't get me wrong, music is still, you know, what it is. I just wasn't doing it the proper way. So I had to navigate the waters and start doing it the way in which I think it was most efficient, right, and it wasn't so crowded. You know, and that's why we jumped in the political field, because when we got in that lane, we were able to talk to people that had value to change their mindset. If you're not in that field, we're just people around here just screaming at people who don't even care, to deaf ears. Right. You know, words falling on deaf ears, and that evolution to add that to even run for an office at our age, you know, has really shook up a whole lot of people. Yeah, you know,
yeah, I can tell, like that young energy, that, you know, the charisma, the knowledge that you have at that age, and then they're like, okay, there's an intimidation factor mm-hmm, that settles in. Mm-hmm. I know that going from that transition to music, from music to the field you're in now, I mean, I have a similar story. I was doing music as mm-hmm, well, mm-hmm, and I saw this this
need
thing where. Well, on social media I saw where if you jump off of a cliff, the brave ones, on the way down, they build an airplane so they can turn around and build it up. And that's kind of scary for a lot of people. They're like, oh man, jumping off that cliff, that's too deep. I don't know, I'll just settle in my safe zone. Mm-hmm. And there's those leaders that's like, you know what, I'm going to go for it. Mm-hmm. If I crash, people saw what happened, and they can know next time, the next generation coming across, like, mm-hmm, okay, I know what not to do next time. But he was brave enough to take that step. So, you know, evolving, it doesn't only require just bravery, but that's one of the big components to going in the direction you want to go. So when you evolve,
that's very true, very true. Man.
So what empowered you to make that first step running for office?
Man, I was thinking about it for about 7 months beforehand. And I kept watching it. You know, as you watch politics now, it's become so commercialized that it's just like the NBA Finals almost. You know, everybody want to know what's happening. Everybody want to speak about it. Everybody want to give you the policies about X, Y, Z. But then that gave me something. How do I manifest this information and this actual concern for a change by everybody now? And manifest that situation into an actual movement. Like, how can we actually make people want to do it instead of just talk about it? And you know, so I said, okay, here we go. We're gonna jump. You know, we jumped off the cliff, and I connected with Mr. Sheffield. I connected with Mr. George. Miss Miranda was the first one who I connected with while I was voting at the polls, and I was casting my vote. And I said, you know what? I said I want to do this. It was back in November at that point. Beforehand, I was thinking about it all the way from, April, last year, April time. But I didn't know how to do it. So I was like, how do I do this? You know, what do I got to do? She was like, oh, well, I'm going to connect you with somebody, you know, and then that's when she connected me with Mr. Chef. And me and him just started communicating then. And then he connected me with Mr. George. And so we all just sharing our information. And I was like, hey, I'm going to run for office too. You know, they put me in a group. You know, I was in the Concerned Citizens group at first, and just listening. And I was doing mass research before then. And at that time, I'm like, man, I'm involved in it. Why not jump now? You know, so I was like, hey guys, I'm gonna run for office. You know. And a lot of times, I know a lot of people be like, oh, you gonna run for office? Okay, cool. Yeah. Then I put the name on the ballot, man, and then I felt it. I felt all the time that I put in researching, all the conversations that I had with different people, all the information that was just out there for grabs. I just took it and I brought it in, and it just all fell in my lap, man. And ever since then, man, we took off. We didn't look back, man. We fully vested into it. I'm talking about fully. No halving, no kinda. Even in the doubting moments, the moments when you doubt the most, you still. Once you made that commitment, you only got to look. Hey, your name on the ballot. You know, man.
It's like physically there.
Yeah, you there. So what are you gonna do? Turn around? You can't turn around. You know what I'm saying? Because it's either you make it there. It's like when you're going to a destination, right? You have no water. You got a little bit of water left, right? All right, I'm 3/4 of the way there, but it seems so far away. But if I turn around, I'm going to die surely, you know? So it's like time to keep going, time to keep pressing in every moment, man. Gotta keep going. Because
if you turn around, like you said, going back to what you trying to leave from.
So. Yes, and I'm failing the people. And I'm failing myself even greater, man, because I always set my mind up to go for things that are beyond the visions of people. You know, and it's because I guess that's just my nature, and that's why I feel like I'm a natural leader, because I'm able to just tap into that second nature and just be the leader you are. Okay, bet it's time to go. Phew. Then I get active, man. So, man, we jumped in the water, man. No turning back, man. All the doubters have become supporters for the most part, man.
That's good.
And I don't even want to call them doubters in a sense, because they knew not what they were doing. You know, they didn't know what type of product I was. You know, they didn't know that I felt like I worked on and created an empire within me to be able to withstand whatever comes with the nature of running. You know, but then they seen it. You know, their eyes begin to open. They started absorbing it, and that energy. Even to them, I still give them good energy. Because ain't no point in me giving you no negative energy. You know why? That means it's coming. I'm creating it from within. So that means I'm negative. You know? No, it's all positive energy, man. And, man, it's been a wonderful ride thus far, man. And I'm looking to see what the next few months results based on this hard work is going to accomplish. And also years, because we're creating something that's changing this for years to come.
Revolutionary.
You know, this is just, even win, lose, or draw, which we're going to win. We're setting a tone that you can run for office. It ain't no thing, man. Just educate yourself, build yourself up, and make it happen. The more we have, the more knowledgeable people we have. The more knowledgeable people we have, the more functioning community we have.
Absolutely.
And the more functioning community equates out to a more functional county. So, man, that's what it's all about, man. Civics, education, man. Rather it's educated through that or through action, through words or actions. You know, you have to be educated.
And I look at it in like the art of war, where you appear as if you are like someone who doesn't know what's going on. But you studied before. You studied. You were like, I put myself out there. I studied. And so when the people that you were in the community with, you say, I'm running for office, usually it's like, okay. But then they see that you're serious about it, and you put your own point, and you put yourself out there. Now they're like, man, like he came prepared. Like you never underestimate.
Yes,
and
sir.
I'm not just saying like enemy, like they're the enemy, but at the same time, it's like, you know, your biggest competition is self.
Yes.
The way you put yourself out there, and the way you've studied, and the way you've presented yourself. Now the people who didn't know what was going on, now they're supporting. They're like, I really truly believe in this. And this is a testament to anything, any field that anyone gets in, anything that somebody wants to do. If nobody's believing in you now, don't look for instant gratification. It's always going to be a process.
Yes.
Remove yourself from the result. The process is what you fall in love with. The results are going to come, whether it's money, whether it's a position you want to get in, anything. The process is going to be perpetuated until the day you die.
Yes, sir.
It's always going to be something. So, you know, I look at that in the sense of your story and how you like prepared yourself for it. Preparation is key. So when you went in there, you're like, I'm running for office. It's like, okay, cool. He don't know. He think they over there talking probably. Yeah, he may not. You know, he may. You know, it might be something like impulse for right now. And then they look, they're like, wow, he has momentum behind him. So yeah, so I think that's a beautiful thing, and your story can also affect kids that are looking from a distance. Like, well, he's not as old as the other candidates. He's like not that much older than me, so that gives me hope in the sense of like, in the generations coming after you.
Yes, sir.
The functioning
community,
the functioning county, you know, and that county could resonate and move to, you know, the entire
a larger
state.
scale. Yes, sir.
Right.
And that's the objective, to be the county that everybody wants to replicate. You know, that is the objective, not just, you know, and like a little puzzle, you piece by piece by piece. My community, okay, I want to replicate him in my community. Okay, oh, I want to in my neighborhood. Okay, oh man, county. Now these surrounding counties see it. I'm telling you, everybody watch everybody. You know, everybody watches everyone. So that's how you know that when you're doing something that's on a larger scale such as that, it's going to be watched by a lot of people. So that's an opportunity to affect a lot of people. Right. And I want to touch on another point. We speak of the young generation, but we also got to speak of those who are in the generation before us. See, they may even have timid and a timid nature of them, and they didn't want to run because of something. They don't know. Maybe this, maybe that, maybe this, maybe that. But now they seeing someone younger than them running and being very, you know, being successful at the run thus far, it empowers them. Right. And now that means there's more civic and understanding for them as well. So it's touching a lot of bases with it. You know, I don't want to just say, hey, okay, let's forget about everybody else who came before me. You know, I want to give them their due and let them understand that I'm here to empower you too.
Right. In the past, I've spoke with a lot of music artists, and there's a disconnect here in Mississippi, and that's why I started Sipp Culture, because there's a disconnect here in Mississippi where the support is, you don't support because you know the individual, but if you don't know what, it's that stranger theory. I don't know this person, but I'll support him. But if you know somebody who you've seen grown and they're trying to do something to impact, whether it's music, politics, anything, do you think there's a disconnect between the people and the person that's in a position of trying to get some change or make an impact?
Man, you know, that's really the issue that we're facing. You know, as a society, a culture, or even a Jasper County culture in nature, it's a microcosm of what's happening everywhere. Right. You know, if you look at it on a grand scale of the United States, it's a disconnect. And the only way you connect is through conversation, dialogue. Right. You know, and to give you an example, that's why, you know, Mr. Sheffy, you know, we tag team in this situation because of the generational disconnect that's going on. So if a young person running, right, and then we have a mature age person that's leading over here on this side, then we only have a gap to fill now. Right. We don't have to worry about, okay, if I had somebody my age, okay, let's go out here and campaign. We only focus on one group. We're not showing that we are for the people. Right. We're showing that we're for these people. Right. You know, that's not the identity that we're going for. The identity is everyone. So we got to connect that tunnel, that bridge, through one side over there, we got the mature side, and we got the younger side that's coming up. Throw the rope across each other. Now we could create the bridge, just like them cross bridges you see in the old jungles and stuff. You had to do it. Hey, same format, man. We had to do the same thing, and that was the intention.
Man, that's great to bridge that gap between the generations and bringing that connectivity between different, or that disconnect that's there, to bring that and bridge that gap. I think that's incredible as well. Let's see. Well, no, that was my other question. How has this decision affected your everyday life? Has everything changed for you?
Man, yes, sir. It changed because now beforehand, I said I'm investing into the people, right? And I meant it then, but now it's a literal aspect now. Right. Where you really got to be vested in what the people say. You got to go to them. How you doing? Tell me how you feel. What are you looking for? You really have to actually touch as many individuals as you can. And my objective at the beginning was to touch everybody. And I know it was hard because I started in January, actually in October, and it's a process of probably like a 2-year process, but I was okay with it. I knew in due time I'll have my chance to touch those people in the long run.
Okay. And we spoke on family, them being your motivation, but like, what role have they played, whether it's extended or your family?
Well, my family has my wife, my son has shown that. Notice I said wife, and I'm a girl because that's my wife. I've been married. Showing stability, understanding that I can commit to something. And that's a subconscious thing that's being shown right there. Right. Showing that, he could commit to something. So he could commit to saying what these things that he want to make happen has happened, even if it takes a long amount of time. Are you committed to it? Right. And that's a reflection of it. Yes, I am committed. And yes, I can commit. And yes, I will continue to be committed. And also it goes for my son as well, man. There's a reflection of that. I can create life and I can handle life. Right. These are subconscious things that we have. Can you control life? Because you're gonna have a lot of people's lives in your hands. Can you handle that life? Right. So that's another, a form of showing. Yes, yes, and that's their job is to support. That they've been supporting heavily the whole time. Right. So my family, my wife, they give me ultimate comfort in my decisions, and ultimate comfort shows that I can lead other people just the same.
Me and my business partner, we were both married with children, and we started this, and you have to, your significant other has to believe in whatever you do. You have to put yourself out there, and like you said, the subconscious thing, I thought that was deep, where people can see, what is his life like? And then they're looking at it, okay, he's married, he has children, and he's committed. And marriage is a commitment where it's constant. It's not like this thing where, I'm hanging with this girl. Like that's that commitment that you put in. So when people see that, they're like, in a sense of, hey, man, look, this guy, he may have some sort of, commitment about him. I want to see, like, where else he goes with it. But having those core values with you when you go is really, really significant in that process. So yes, sir. I think that's a good thing. But what is a major issue for the county that you look to address, like the county in general?
One of them, man, is big as you go through the different sides of the county, is cultural separation, man. And what I mean is, a lot of people speak east versus west. Right. And then in reality, when you sit down, we all have the same issues. We all have the same problems that we need to address. And it's a disconnect with the ideal of understanding how we do that. No one is or presenting solutions. It's just continue, let me just stay in my lane and we just do what we do. That's not how it works, It's all about that, and also a lack of understanding of civics and how important it is to be engaged with politics. It's very important. It's not like being engaged with a basketball game, where you entertain for that moment and you can go home and it's over. It's more so of, this is your life that we're talking about. Right. This is your existence. You can't go home without being affected by it. You can't go to sleep without being affected by it. You can't go to the store without being affected by it. So you need to stay engaged with it and a lot of times they're disengaged because of the, I guess you could say, the figure don't know how to keep people engaged because they're not studying the people. You know, you have to study the people and listen. What I mean, you have to listen. What do you want? What happened? So that's a difficult thing, man. It's a rift between not only East versus West. We got to look even deeper, white versus black, because you know the voting be chain voting, man. We have to break the cycle,
right,
and put the best people in position and stop making it a black and white issue. It's an actual, we need somebody who's going to actually represent us issue that we're facing. You know, and it's blatant. So as we move forward, you know, that's why we mingle. That's why I go to a stringer and mingle and not have anything that'll shake me or make me want to direct something different. And that's why I'm in the heart of Heidelberg, because I love it over here. You know, I love everybody, and I want us all to embrace this. Embrace what's happening, because if not, we're going to get left back in 1950. Right. You know, it's either 2020 or 1950. We choose. Right. And I want to be the propellant of that.
Okay, and well, last question. Okay. How can others help contribute to your campaign? Like, you know, is there any specific way, or are there many ways?
Man, there's many ways, but we're gonna break it down a little specificity behind it, and that's gonna contribute. It's two things I would say. August the 6th, I need to see you vote. You know, that's a form of support. Right. August the 6th, you know, get out there, vote. Don't be afraid. Vote by any means. Exercise that right to vote. I need you to vote, you know. And the second is contributions, man. You can give me $1. That shows you that you invested. You have an invested interest in me. You know, you give me 50 cents. That's an invested interest. But you got to understand, you get what you give, you know. But if you want me to focus, I'm going to give you an example, right? Mm-hmm. You want me to come to your area and be in your area quite often, right? But this area over here has voted me in, but your area didn't vote me in. How can I betray them to show more loyalty to someone who's not vested in what we got going on? Right. They felt the movement. Don't get me wrong, you're not left out. I'm still focusing on you, you know. But at the same time, my vested interest is the interest that put you in first, and then we work towards that. Right. So that's why we want a countywide sweep, so we can continue that vested interest situation and break up this chain and block voting, man.
Man, I think that's great, because, like, you know, you're having that everybody to look at it from a broader spectrum as opposed to like you said, black and white and all of that. But ways you can contribute, you know, and be invested in this brother right here, to where, you know, he's going out and connecting with the people and not just being like, hey, yeah, I'm gonna work on that. Well, I'm in this position. I'm using this position as like a thing of, you know, a badge of honor, and like, hey, yeah, I ran for office and I won. But it's more like, hey, I'm connected with people. Yes, sir. And I want to hear your concerns.
And to add along to that, we have to understand that a campaign is expensive. So we want people that represent us, and campaigns are made not to have poor people in them. Right. And I'm not saying we're poor, but what I'm saying is, if you don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars, then you have to be invested by the people. Right. Because campaigns, let me give you an example. As we have this nice sign right here, 25 of these is $250. How many people in Jasper County? It's over 18,000 people. Right. And everybody wants a sign. You know, so it's like, okay, I want to give y'all a sign, but man, you know how much it costs for me to come out of my own pockets to give you this sign, which I want to do it. So we got to understand the dynamics of politicking and campaigning. It takes money. That's why I say I'll take $1, because that $1 is a contribution to me getting a new sign. Right. You know, and here you go. Or I'll take whatever it takes, gas money to get from point A to point B. Right. You know, that's a part of the campaign. You want me to meet your people. You want to meet your community. You want to get a feel of me, a touch on who I am. It takes gas money. You know, I still got a life to live. You know, I still got, I'm not a millionaire. Right. But the thing about me, I am rich in quality. I am rich in understanding. Right. I am rich in connections. I am rich in resources. So that's my big thing about it, man. We got to understand it takes contributions in order for people to really get where they're trying to go in a campaign.
Right. Well, I mean, it does. You know, in anything you do, especially in politics, you have to be invested with the people. The people have to be invested in you in order to make things move. So, I mean, without further ado, you know, tell the people where they can follow you, social media, you know, website, anything you have. That way, you can plug that.
Hey, you could just Google Larry Thompson Sr. and all my information pop up, but we're gonna be more specific. Facebook, man, that's a valuable source. I have my site on that, and I have a connection of everything that I do all on Facebook. So it's Larry Thompson Sr. You can look me up, and you can contact me as well. I'm open to conversations. 601-286-0867. Line is always open for communication, because guess what? I don't know what your issues are unless you tell me. And that's my job, is answering your problems. I have to create a solution for your problems.
Right. Hey, man, without further ado, thank you guys for tuning in to Sipp Culture. I thank you for, you know, getting on the show and,
yes, sir,
and just, you know, showing us love, and I'm glad we can help you get that out there as well. Thank you for tuning in to Sipp Culture, where we highlight individuals, groups, organizations, politics, or anybody for that matter. And thank you for tuning in.